I have sat on the other side of the table sort of evaluating bids in the civil service, you know, in terms of commissioning work. And I think the key things for me, not necessarily in any particular order, but I think the first one is, yes, answer the question, which sounds really simplistic, but it's amazing how many people want, quite rightly, to put across what they think they're about. And that's very interesting, but it might not answer the question that they're currently looking at. So again, don't look for skeletons in the cupboard in the sense of there are no trick questions in bids. You know, people often think, oh, they've asked me that before, or I've seemed to be saying the same thing over and over again. That's probably because you've not read the question properly, or you're trying to push too much into the answer. And I think the third thing is be realistic, open and honest about what you can and can't do. Because if you're reading a bid and you don't know the organisation particularly, and that's fine, I mean, there's no problem with that, because it's simply a case of, do they answer the question, do they deliver what we want? Make sure that what you're saying is deliverable, and tell them how you're going to deliver it, because you will often read some great ideas in bids, and then you sit there and think, but yeah, they can't actually deliver this, or they can, but they're going to, you know, they're going to struggle, or it's way outside the timeline, and so on and so on. And so those are the three key things to me. That it is answer the question, it's look very carefully at what you're proposing, and then in the third one, it's actually prove that you can do it. So it's the old quality circle thing of say what you're going to do, say how you're going to do it, and then prove it. There is also what I call the I've not copyrighted this, but it's a phrase I use. It's called the tension triangle, which applies equally to project management and to some extent to bid writing and bid delivery. And the quality triangle has got three sides to it being a triangle. And it's time, quality and cost. Those are the three key things that people need to be conscious of. Now, you can stretch two of them at the cost of another, if you like. So if somebody says to you, I want you to deliver that within a certain time, and then changes the timeline, you go back and say, well, either the cost goes up or the quality suffers, because the deliverable is exactly the same. If you change the deliverable, obviously the triangle changes. Equally, if you say, somebody says to you, you've got to fit within that cost and within that timeline, your quality will suffer. So it's being conscious of the tension between those three things. Now, if you're in a position where you've got one of them slipping, let's say it's time that's slipping, you may be able to address that by getting more money or lowering the quality and coming on time. If you get two of them slipping, you're in trouble, because it's virtually impossible to manage two of those elements of the tension triangle and successfully deliver, because you don't have any what they currently call wiggle room. You've no way of doing it. So, for example, if your timeline slips and your costs go way out of your tolerance, and the project board or the bidder, the funder is saying, that's it, you know, you no more money, you can change the quality as much as you like, but it still will not come in on time. So it really is, you know, that time, quality, cost model, which is very familiar to lots of project people. It's just having that in the back of your mind all the time. The other one is the famous one of the hierarchy of needs. And that really, I use that in several different contexts, mainly because often the people writing the bid, making the proposal, are in a different part of the hierarchy of needs than the ones for whom they are writing it. So I say that in the sense of, let's say, you know, you get someone who is in a fairly financial stable position writing a bid to give support to people who are not in that position. It's understanding what their needs are and how you can address them, not from your perspective, but from theirs. So again, it's very easy to sit higher up the triangle looking down and thinking you know what's going on, when actually you don't. So that's all about the veracity of the bid, in the sense of, yes, this is a great idea, and there are lots of great ideas, but A, it's a good idea, B, it looks deliverable in the way they're structuring it, and C, I actually think they've got an organisation that will do it, and I can see the outcomes. And that is the final thing. Funders want to see benefit realisation. They want to see outcomes. They want to see not necessarily outputs, because, you know, an output might simply be a number on a piece of paper. It's about outcomes. What does actually change as a result, or what will change as a result of you doing what you're doing? And that's what they're interested in. And it's about their investment programme. If I invest £1,000 there, what am I going to get for it? You might get a situation where, let's say, a radio station, for example, they get £1,000. They're very happy. Of course they are. They've got some money. But actually, they've got to use that money to deliver what the funder wants. And that really is the key to it. It's about being realistic and honest, because if you set yourself up to fail by saying, I know this is what they want, so that's what I'll tell them, and you can't actually do it, you will lose all your credibility. And it's obvious when you're reading the bid that's the case. So it is a very simplistic approach, to be honest, Con, which is about being honest and straightforward and answering the question.